everybody. We will get started in a few moments. All right, I see Mo is officially here. All right, so just request to join the live and we can get started. Yay, yay. Right. Okay. There we are. Hello.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for hopping on, beautiful.
Thank you for having me.
We're a bunch of moms, so we're like excited to talk about all things kids fashion, your inspiration. Well, first, I want to officially welcome you on board to the HellaBlack platform and family. So, thank you so much for joining joining in on the mission to elevate Black businesses and just elevate our culture as a whole. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us in this mission that we're on. So I want to learn everything about you. Before we get into the ins and outs of your product line, and correct me, it's ZYEM, correct?
You got it right.
And let me tell you, I was practicing the whole time. Lovely was like, pronounce it this way. I love it. So you're from Brooklyn. Your mom inspired you. You named your line after your baby. What took you from a concept to an actual product that you're selling to customers? Talk me through that. What took you there?
Well, I don't have hours and hours to speak, but I'll keep it short.
Okay.
I've probably said this a million times, but not everyone knows this. But when I was 9 years old, that's when I decided I wanted to be a fashion designer. I was always a very creative child, right? And so I'm the oldest of 10 total. There are 9 girls and 1 boy. Yeah.
Poor boy. Poor
Right.
he got it bad, didn't he?
Right in the middle. So I knew I wanted to be a fashion designer by watching a PBS special. You know, we used to watch Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers. So there was a special about this man who would make clothing for African royalty. And when I saw his drawings, I was just so captivated. I knew right then that's what I wanted to do. So, from then on, that focus, I think, really, really helped me as a child. We didn't have a lot of money. I came from a single parent home, actually. So it just really kept me focused as a reminder, like, this is what you want to do and it's what you have to do it. And I attended an art high school, the High School of Performing Arts, LaGuardia, and then I went to Pratt Institute and studied fashion. And the day after I graduated, I was actually already interning for Ralph Lauren Children's Wear, so that's what they hired me the next day, and that's what I started doing. Now, as far as what I'm doing now, I think a lot of it had to do with coming into my own, honestly, as a Black woman. Because what happens is that we grow up and a lot of us don't have silver spoons in our mouth. And we have to make a decision. Many of us don't have the choice to just do whatever we want to do.
Right.
And we don't have a lot of room for mistakes. So I needed a job. It wasn't about glamour. I just needed a job, but I knew that I was a very creative person, so I had to be in the creative field. That's all I knew. So that's why I decided to design for a commercial company, and I did that for about 10 years before I had my son. And I felt it was great. I learned a lot. I traveled all over the world, to India, to China, to Europe. Because that's where you get your inspiration. That's where the factories are. But as far as being creative, I felt like there was a glass ceiling. I felt stifled. Because when you're working for a lot of commercial companies, the buyers are from department stores, and most of them do not look like us. They did not grow up like us. They don't really quite understand us. So when they see someone that maybe look like me and talk like me and has a little swagger like me, you know, it's
Swag.
like,
You know that they were intimidated, but go ahead. We'll leave that for another conversation.
they can't really conceive the fact that I can design for them. When I feel that when you're really truly a great designer, you can design for anyone.
Right. Right.
So I felt that, you know, there was a little bit of stereotyping, a little racism. I don't really like to throw that out, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They, you know, giving you a paycheck sometimes, I felt like it was like killing them to give you, you know, even remotely.
Why? What is that? That is so true. I don't care what industry you're in, but yes.
I remember working for a particular a company that was pretty big, and my boss told me when she hired me that my family must look at my paycheck and be in awe. She knew nothing about me, you know. She only knew, I just said, that my parents, I was the oldest, but you don't know really who my family, like that's just very outrageous, and I don't think she would have said that to just anyone.
Right, right.
So those kind of subtle things are some of the things that I had to deal with. But after having my son, I think it really motivated me because I felt that was a part of coming of age. Like I felt like I really was an adult now.
Mm-hmm.
My design, my fashion, that's like my second baby. I always say my son is the best creation I ever had made. My second love is what I'm doing right now. And because I worked for so many companies, I didn't feel like I quite had a niche or knew what my voice was because I was so used to being a voice for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you're on a platform that's all about Blackity Black, the excellence of our culture. So you have nothing to worry about that anymore. Well, we all have to worry about it in other areas, but in HellaBlack, you're celebrated. So talk to me a little bit about what your customers can expect from your store on HellaBlack, because I already saw I have like 2 things in my cart. I'm ready to start shopping for my 10-year-old like right away.
Well, I have to say my in-person experience is probably 10 times better than virtual, and I'm working on that. Being a small business, I'm definitely trying to, and that's why I'm so grateful to you. You guys have been so helpful with that. I have to just thank you so much. Shout you out with that. The platform is beautiful, and it definitely helps people like me that, not only am I, designing, but I'm also constructing everything, and I'm also the salesperson, and we my hands is in a lot
many hats always. Yes.
But I have a lot of I actually have some of probably my best sellers right now. Most of them are fairly new that will be on the site because I feel like I've gotten the most reception from these pieces. Just some of them, because right now I'm preparing for Juneteenth and 4th of July weekend is a festival, so a lot of things are in the workshop and it's all over the place. And I'm sorry if the lighting here is terrible because
no, don't worry about it. You're beautiful. The hair is filling up all the beauty. I'm loving it. So
yeah, I'll show a few of my best sellers that's here.
Okay.
This is, and I don't know if it will fill up the screen, but this kimono, right?
Uh-huh.
I have it in probably 6 different patterns. It's reversible.
Mm-hmm.
And men, women, and children, I've had customers for this.
Wow.
So it must be something. I'm actually wearing one as well.
I love that. Is that a blue and like a grayish? Well, the color combination is beautiful.
It's blue and purple, and you can wear it as a traditional kimono. And then if you want to make it a little sexy, you can make it more sleeveless.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. I love that. That's beautiful. And you have a lot, you have, you know, for the whole family, you have mom, you can, you know, hook up mom, dad, baby girl, young man, you got the whole family covered.
I am a children's brand. I want to maintain our focus. But what I found over the past 6 months, six months is my audience wasn't quite who I thought it was, because adults will pick up the items and say they want it for themselves. So right now, about 60% of my customer base is adults over children. So, you know, I have to, you know, I gotta work with what I have. So
Right.
if adults are liking it, it is what it is.
So correct me, your line was featured in an upcoming documentary on photographer Gordon Parks. So talk to us about that. How did that even come together? And it's going to be, you know, where can someone watch the film? I know it's at the Tribeca Film Festival. So what got you there, and what was that experience like?
Well, I grew up in Brooklyn. I grew up really in my parents were younger. They were teenagers when I was born, so they really had me in the hip hop culture. Like my mother would take me to see Run DMC in a stroller before they were famous in the park. That's how, you know, and I'm not trying to date myself or nothing, but that's what it was, right? And so when I grew up wanting to be a designer, you know, I would sit on my stoop and I would watch all the fly guys and the fly girls walk by. That was my inspiration. People wearing Dapper Dan, that was my inspiration. And as I grew and started to see photographs, not knowing quite yet it was Jamel Shabazz photographs, but his photographs just are memory. They just evoke a lot of emotion and memories of me growing up in the city, and really what's my inspiration, my story. I saw my story in a lot of his photos. So we happened to connect about 7, 8 years ago, because I did a not-for-profit exhibit and asked if he would contribute some photos, which he nicely did. And we ended up, he ended up being taking the photos for my first collection. He did my ad campaign for my first collection, which is like, wow, like, you know, like, how lucky was I? You know what I mean? To have someone who I looked up to do that.
That ain't, that's blessings right there, girl.
He said, you know, he just said he really liked what I was doing. And, you know, I feel like my aesthetic probably, you know, a lot of my aesthetic you can see in some of his photos naturally. So, you know, as we build a relationship, and I guess he's been watching me growing and really working and really seeing that I really love working with children. He asked me if I would. He was thinking about retiring, and I think he may change his mind after this film. But he called me up and said, "Listen, okay, let me go back. He's the winner of the Gordon Parks Award in 2018. That's how he's connected with Gordon Parks.
Okay.
And I personally think he's pretty much like a predecessor.
Predecessor? Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
So, they asked him if he would speak, you know, in the movie. He's actually is a consultant on a lot of movies we've seen in the past because of the fact that he's a documentarian of street culture, right? So all these, so Godfather Harlem, he did the ad campaign for that. I believe the Get Down. You know, he was a consultant because he has all this footage that a lot of people do not have.
Right. That's a gold mine right there.
Really, and that just shows that it's a journey. Like, you have to truly, you know, just seeing his work, you know, it's about culture. It's not about money. It's not about fame. He just truly loves what he does, and I definitely, for me, that's very heartfelt because that's how I want to live my life. So he called me up and he said, "Listen, I'm thinking about retiring, but I have to say, if I do, I want your clothing to be the last commercial shoot that I do."
What an honor!
Yeah. I mean, I told him, like, I really wanted to, like, cry, like, because that's like, I mean, you know,
you can't make that stuff up. That is amazing. Okay.
That's very, very grateful. And so the it's under HBO. The film it will be on HBO. And so he shot. We did some ads. I wanted to do sort of some homages to what some of his famous photos, but photos that I really like, because maybe some of them aren't to other people. But
Mm-hmm.
some of my favorite photos, I wanted to pay homage and actually update them to apparel that I currently have.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really what my apparel is about. It's the nostalgia of the past, but it's current enough that children today can relate to it.
Well,
So
I
it's like,
know that I'm definitely, because you know my kids, they like to do like throwbacks to the 90s, and they're like, my 11-year-old is dressing, because of their access to TV and everything, they're able to piece things together in a way that I would have never done at 11 or 10 years old. You know what I mean? So they're very more much more conscious than we were as kids. So um you're like right in the right spot, right? I think, you know, in kids apparel, and then with all that influence that you've had, it's statement pieces for kids at this point. Like I totally see that.
I'm really against sexualizing children. That's one thing. So that's why maybe a lot of my silhouettes are oversized. And I
Thank
just take,
you. No, as a mom, thank you. You know, with the shoulder cutouts and the little kitten heels, I'm like, please, it's too much. Yeah,
and
with
we all know
five
too that
cutters, yeah.
I think scientifically they have proven, or psychologically they've proven that Black girls are not seen as children.
No, yeah. True.
So, I don't want to promote that. I want children should look like children. And also, it just I really pull that 9, 10-year-old girl that wanted to be a designer and love to dress up when I'm designing. I think, it just takes me back to that place that we all, don't want to give up.
Right. No, so you have some events coming up for Juneteenth, that some significant stuff. So talk a little bit about that. Where can people pull up, and celebrate with you?
Well, I have an in-person pop-up Juneteenth weekend, the 19th and 20th at Mashable Creations.
Okay.
Will be hosting me, which is just amazing. Mashable is a staple in Brooklyn. He's a Brooklyn-based designer. His Mashable boutique has been in Brooklyn for 27 years. I really think he was very innovative in his time. And everyone, really respects him, and I really appreciate the fact that he is welcoming me in as a children's wear designer, and telling me that his home is my home. That's like,
Yeah.
that's a really big deal. He don't just be letting know about anybody in his store.
Listen, you said it was in Brooklyn. He was there for 27 years. You're not going to be in Brooklyn for 27 years if you let anybody in the store. So that's an honor. I'm excited for you. Congratulations for that partnership.
Thank you. It's 2020 was really hard for a lot of us. One thing it did do for many of us was it caused us to focus, and I think that this time was I utilized it to really hone in on what I can contribute, and what would help bring my brand to the next level.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today, for being with me and the whole HellaBlack family. So before we close out, tell us where we can follow you. You said this weekend you're going to be in Brooklyn. Any last minute shout outs you want to do? Here's your time.
Oh, thank you. So like this weekend, as I mentioned, I will be at Restoration Plaza, which is where Mashable store is located. 4th of July weekend is a 3-day weekend. I will have a shop at the International African Arts Festival at Commodore Barry Park. I also will be managing, along with a representative of Mashable, we're having a vendor's presentation, like a fashion show there as well on the 3rd. And also, You can, and also I will also probably have a pop-up at Brooklyn Museum. That's not confirmed, but most likely in July that's gonna happen. Because I really enjoyed it in person, because there's nothing like being able to touch and look at items up close.
Mm-hmm.
You can find ZYEM on Instagram at ZYEMKIDS at ZYEM Kids.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have a website, ZYEM.com. I have to say that probably HellaBlack probably will have items that, up-to-date items that ZYEM.com does not have. So
we get the exclusive. We get the exclusive. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
We're working on it. I want to make sure that HellaBlack gets the really great HellaBlack items.
Love it. I love it. Well, I want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing for our babies, allowing them to be kids, and, you know, outfits that bring out their inner child and make them smile, because the colors, the combinations, it's like they're sassy without even opening their mouths. It's like I love everything about it. And I was watching the fashion shows, and the way those kids strut, it's a different kind of strut that you don't see. The confidence I think your clothes brings out in our kids. I want to say thank you as a mom. This is something that I appreciate and I want all kids to have access to. So
I was running my mouth, so I couldn't really show everything back here. But I have to say, one way I do know if I'm doing things right is that when they put something on, and I see that their face change, and that's how you know.
Yes, and they're not like, I don't want to wear this. I don't want to wear that. Yeah.
They want to go home with it, and okay. That's it.
That's it. That's it. Well, thank you so much for your time, Mo. I'm so excited to have, you know, all the moms and the parents and the grandmas and aunties shopping on HellaBlack for your next gift. Make sure that you check her out. Just go right into the search bar, click on kids, and her apparel line will be right there for your next gift. So let's stay connected.
Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this for people like me. Thank you so much. I really truly appreciate it, and you guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thank
much
you.
Success.
Listen, when we win, you win, and vice versa. Everybody wins. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. And you know, we're also going to replay this on YouTube and on IGTV. So we will make sure that this is available after the live stream. All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.